to Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville, Florida, where Jeffrey Meldon has been practicing since 1971. We also have offices in South Florida, specifically in the Fort Lauderdale area, covering the entire Tri-County part of the state, Tri-County southern part of the state, from Miami-Dade through Broward through Palm Beach County. And we also have an office in Ocala, where we've been for 43 years, covering Marion County and all the surrounding counties nearby. No, I'm not Jeffrey Meldon. My name is Chris Qualman, and I am the Chief Investigator and Major Case Division Manager for Meldon Law. And we recently celebrated our one-year anniversary of this podcast of Meldon Law and Friends. So if you go back and you watch the first 40 episodes, I'm on most of those. Since then, it's been Carrie and Jeffrey for the most part, but every so often they sneak me in, so that's why I'm here. Truth be told, Jeffrey and Carrie are on their way to a legal mastermind seminar this weekend. Something, if you know anything about Jeffrey Meldon, he is always sharpening the saw, always finding ways to improve the firm, improve the productivity, improve the services we do for people. So Jeffrey's on his way to one of those mastermind attorney seminars, and wish him well, and we will see him next Tuesday at 4 p.m. We've got some great guests on our show this afternoon. I'm very happy to bring the Luke of Luke's New York Bagels. Luke, welcome to the program.
I appreciate it. Very happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And, I saw Luke walking in as we were about to start the program. And I said, hey, my first question is, did you bring any samples?
Yeah.
Not today, but if you know anything about Luke's Bagels, they are, I'm just going to say it, in my opinion, the most popular bagel outfit in town. Certainly, if you're familiar with them, you know how quickly they run out of bagels every morning because they're so popular.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't bring any today. We sold out pretty early, especially for a Tuesday. We were out at like 11 o'clock this morning. So.
Okay, well, that's par for the course because they're good.
Right.
They make excellent bagels. Want to remind everybody we are live. We are live on Facebook. And if you have any questions, I urge you to send them to us. You can just type them right there in the comments section on the Meldon Law Facebook Live page. So whatever your question may be, if you got a question for Luke about his wonderful bagels, we'll be talking more about that in the moments to come. We also have a great guest coming up in the second half, Jordan Marlowe, the mayor of Newberry, Florida. Many of you know about Jordan. You've heard his incredible story, the wonderful things he's doing with the city of Newberry. We'll be talking with Jordan in the second half of today's program. So by all means, stay tuned. We've got an excellent program. It's a little bit different in format than we've had in the past. I was told by our producer going in that we're actually not going to have any commercial breaks today. So we're just going to have to stretch this out and come up with things to talk about. Not that that's going to be too hard, I think. Anyway, but I want to urge everybody, please, if you have any questions at all, they don't even have to be reasonable questions. Decent questions. I don't care what they are. If you want to ask about the law firm, if you want to ask about Luke's Bagels, if you want to ask about the Gators, we are, of course, as a law firm, the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Man, that was a tough loss last night. What happened to that basketball team?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like just being a student here for this long, our sports, it's tough. Being a Gator fan in the past few years, it feels like we're so close and then things kind of crumble, it seems. But bouncing back after a tough loss, after being 6-0, I mean, sometimes it happens. I believe in our team. Anything could happen in college basketball. We look really good. We show a lot of heart. So, one game could slip up, but, we show a lot of promise. Beating Ohio State, who beat a number 1 Duke, I mean, it just shows that, anything could happen. So.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and start talking about Luke's Bagels, okay? And like I said, when I saw you walking in, the first thing I could think of was, man, are those great bagels? And I'm not just saying that because Luke is sitting here to my left. They are great bagels. There is something different. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if you're going to tell us, but there is something different about those bagels. So come on, spill the beans. What is it?
Yeah, the amount of people who have asked, I said, all right, but then we're going to have to kill you. No, it's been a long road. A lot of people I don't think realize how much goes into making bagels. It's a 24-hour process to even get there. It was a family recipe from my mom. and my parents were teachers in New Jersey my whole life. I went to the University of Florida for my undergrad and my master's, and I'm actually going back for my MBA this summer. So I was here long enough, and just being from New Jersey, and that's where I'm from. I'm a total phony, but New York sticks a little bit better than New Jersey. I just knew, I was like, there's nothing that's really here where you get nice quality breakfast and could get it on the go. I understand the wait times now are a little long, but that was the original goal was to get something of that caliber and get out and get to classes. Just like how there's a bagel shop on every corner back home. So, it's a long process, but after a while, it was my junior year, I actually went to my undergrad to go to medical school, and that's what I graduated with my undergrad in, and I just was telling my family, hey, I don't want to keep taking out student loans for the rest of my life. I want to come up with something that could pay my way through medical school. So I was like, if you guys are feeling crazy enough, I have this idea. We have this recipe, and maybe we could go down and start this up together. So that's what I did. And my junior year, we started working on our recipe, and it took a really, really long time because not only do you have to work on a recipe to really, get that right bagel, but you have to replicate it on a massive scale, which is tough to do.
Now, I'm not sure if that's a question. Okay, I can't read it very well, but I think we have a comment from Greg on Facebook. Okay, I can read it now. He says, are the bagels boiled and then baked? Is that the difference?
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that go into it. So every bagel that's made, my mom and I are still the ones making it. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
You told me that beforehand.
Yeah.
So every single bagel that's churned out by Luke's Bagels, you and your mother actually worked on that bagel.
Yeah, exactly. So we make all the dough from scratch. A lot of our ingredients come from New York. We have a New York water maker. They're a company based out of Staten Island. It's the real deal. When we started using it, we had to change up all of our doughs because it really affected it. So, a lot of people want to say, like, from time to time, oh, these aren't real New York bagels. But a lot of bagel shops up in New Jersey and New York and pizzerias are actually switching to this New York water maker. So if we're getting most of our ingredients still from New York and getting the water where other places in New York and New Jersey are using it, it's the same exact things going into it.
So the key is the water. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I think water and just being able to keep, quality. But yeah, so with it only being my mom and I, if we decide that maybe a batch didn't come out right, instead of trying to sell it and making money on it, we'd rather throw it all away and start all over from scratch. And then they have to sit in for a long proofing process for several hours overnight. And then we have just like the most phenomenal baking crew that we could ever ask for. Some of our bakers were some of the first hires we ever made at our shop, and they just are so awesome. They're boiled and baked every single morning. Whoever's the shift manager for that night gets there at 1:30 in the morning.
1:30 in the morning.
And the rest of them meet.
Thought I had a work ethic. Thank goodness.
The rest of them, get there at 2:30, and they are boiled. They are baked every single morning. Again, just like how they would do it back home. But we really do have a phenomenal staff nowadays that are able to do that. My mom and I are the ones who, make all the dough, but as far as carrying it forward.
So for those who may not be familiar with his business, with Luke's Bagels, Luke's New York Bagels, that's the full title. All you have to do is drive down Main Street, literally. Are you open every single day, 7 days, or
Tuesday through Sunday? Mondays we're closed.
Mondays are closed. So Tuesday through Sunday. I've done it on weekends. You're right across from the Heartwood Soundstage, that area. And just look for the line of people around the block. I mean, it's incredible. So it seems to me that this has really been word of mouth, maybe more than anything else. Maybe a little bit of advertising, but have you actually done any paid advertising? Yeah,
not a single cent has gone towards paid advertising.
That's incredible.
I want to start diving into it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where people exchange business cards with me, and I'm like, oh, I'm still working on it. I don't know why I haven't made business cards. Maybe that's not the most professional
So
decision.
talk a little bit about the evolution of the business, though. How it's grown to such a, I don't want to say cult phenomenon, because it's you've got so many followers now that you run out of bagels every morning. How has that built? Maybe talk about the marketing, how it was that you went from this idea that you wanted to bring the New Jersey, New York mindset down to Gainesville, and now it's just exploded.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, being a student here at the University of Florida, like I know how to, reach the community and get the word of mouth out. Our business has solely grown through social media, specifically Instagram and Facebook. And most of our announcements come through there, and the way that our word gets out, and it's great that it's free because that's how we've grown. But between the two platforms, I mean, we have over 10,000 followers, and it's just great where if I post something, I get an immediate reaction from our community, and that's really how we've grown. I'm still getting around to making a website. I'm still getting around to.
You just
doing
haven't
certain
needed it
things.
up to this point. It just seems between Facebook and Instagram, the word spreads.
Yeah.
And you sell out every day.
Yeah. Maybe there's a part of me that likes our followers on those platforms, so
Yeah.
I want to stay true to them. But no, it has been a long process, and as it grows, I'm sure that we're gonna do all the things that a business probably should do.
Well, hey, nothing like being off the beaten path. I want to remind everybody that we are live. This is Meldon Law and Friends. I almost said Law Talk Live. That's the radio show. Meldon Law and Friends. We are live today. I don't even know what episode number this is. We're in the 50s. That's all I know. Anyway, I'm very happy to have Luke from Luke's Bagels. We're going to get to another question in just a second. Or I think we've got another question coming. But whatever the case may be, we want you, the viewers, to send us questions. It's very simple. If you're watching us on Facebook Live on the Meldon Law Facebook page, just type in your question, whether it's for Luke, whether it's for me. Not that I'll have any answer, but I'll try. Type in your question on Facebook Live. And we do have Jordan Marlowe coming up in about 15 minutes. Jordan is the mayor of Newberry, Florida. So many amazing things going on out in Newberry, out in West Alachua County, and he's got a lot to tell us about him. So by all means, don't change the channel. Don't leave this Facebook page. You want to stick around and see what Jordan Marlowe has to say. But in the meantime, Luke, let's talk some more about changes in the future. You were telling me a little bit outside the room here about some things that might be coming down the pike. So what can you share with us about changes?
Yeah, so I think, and I'm sure our followers would appreciate this, we're definitely going to be having a lot of big announcements coming this winter break. We're going to be posting to our social media some really big changes as far as where the Luke's Bagels is going to go in the future. And just kind of getting that word out here probably for the first time to probably be ready for some big announcements coming forward. That we're keeping it all close to our chest. We're actually having a staff meeting tomorrow to discuss these certain topics. So as soon as I talk to my staff, then I'll probably.
So how large is your staff?
It's over 60. It's pushing like 70 people now.
Wait a minute. 60?
Yeah. It with our staff.
That's incredible.
It's been tough to find people with everything going on in the world. So I try to be as courteous to our staff.
So is that bakers, drivers?
How
does that break down?
It's just
60 people.
Bakers. We need about 14 people a day to run our operation. We have our whole front of the house, our whole back of the house, our bakers, including myself, and depending on the day, my mom. I've always wanted to be like very courteous to our staff. I've worked college jobs. I've worked normal jobs outside of college. I know how it is working around people's schedules. So actually something that we do differently is the fact that every one of our staff is allowed to make their schedule every single week for themselves.
That's excellent.
I never assign anybody to work on a certain day that they can't work. With that, I feel like we've been able to retain a lot of our staff, but Also, the slight trade-off is the fact that sometimes you're going to have to fill a lot of gaps, or people could only work 1 week or maybe not even any that week. So you have to have like a lot of staff at hand to be able to run an operation that way. But I found a lot of success in keeping our employees. So
We have a question on Facebook Live. I don't know what it is. This name looks awfully familiar to me. Santa. Oh yeah, Santa. My girlfriend. Hi, Santa. She's asking the question: are there gluten-free bagels?
there are not. It's
Well, we need to fix
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I know.
If you want Santa's business, you
Right.
better get those gluten-free bagels. What'll that take?
Yeah, we're in too small of a shop. The cross contamination. I mean, it's like a gluten war zone in there. I mean, the flour and everything.
Gluten war zone.
Yeah, it seriously is. Like we get
Sorry.
covered. So even if we wanted to make them, there wouldn't be a way to keep them completely separate from everything else. So maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. Okay, well, we're going to stay in touch, and you want our business, you're going to have to get gluten-free.
Right.
Anyway, but not that you're doing badly for the time being. What advice would you give to people who want to get an order in? I mean, it's so hard, quite honestly, unless you call early in the morning or call the day before. What's the best strategy to be sure to get an order?
Yeah, so we do call in orders Tuesday through Thursday. It actually works out really well for people who are trying to get on the go. But just Friday through Sunday, I mean, we're just a little too busy to take those call-in orders. So, I mean, just getting there and waiting in line early in the morning is the best I could say to do, because there's not really much of a way around it, at least at the moment in the current location that we're in. So,
Okay. Well, like you said, there's going to be some announcements forthcoming sometime over the break, maybe around the first of the year. It sounds to me like we're talking expansion.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be hinting at anything right now. So potentially,
positive changes.
Nothing's off the table.
Nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
Positive changes. Let me ask you this, and this was a question one of our staff wanted me to ask you. You guys were very proactive during the pandemic, and I remember that. Again, I'd be cruising down Main Street, and I would see the lines out there. Or how did you manage to navigate the business and apparently be very successful during the pandemic?
I mean, just giving people something to do, I feel like during the pandemic was huge. So a lot of businesses, it was, you could only do to-go orders. Well, we had a walk-up window, so that was the only option anyway. And a lot of people, when they went to remote or online learning or whatever the case may be, it was a very new feeling for everybody where, you start to learn like, okay, I have a little bit more time in my hands, but you're forced to stay home. So a lot of people, I feel like, were just looking for something to do, and it was like, hey, let's go try that new bagel place that opened up. And so that's where we were able to at least like capitalize on that aspect and say like, hey, we are open. Hey, here is something to do to get people some fresh air and try something new that, was never even there before. So, we had a great following right off the bat. Just a lot of understanding customers that, it wasn't the easiest time to navigate, but we made it through, and just having our staff at hand, the few people that we had, it was a great learning experience. We're still not fully out of it, but we're getting somewhere.
I see another question coming. Says, can bad batches go to the homeless? That might be something to think about.
So I don't think people really even realize, because I don't like promoting it. I think that's for the wrong reasons. We've donated the amount of bagels that we've donated to local shelters, first responders. I mean, anybody, if they are first responders or any way related to any kind of shelters, they would comment and say this is 100% true. Shands Hospital, everywhere. We've donated like thousands of bagels. I mean, and that's not bad batches. Those are batches that just didn't get sold, and instead of throwing them all away, which a lot of restaurants do, we donate them. A lot of our community, especially first responders, Shands, anybody related, they're like, let us post this on your social media. And I'm genuinely like, no, I don't. That's not what it's for. A lot of businesses will say like, look at us, but I am more so like, no, this is what should be done. I don't think people even realize that. There are some people who like to say, oh, you should get, you should do this, or like, how some people bring up, you could donate bad batches to the homeless shelters. Well, we actually donate, all of our good batches.
Your good batches. I don't think you have too many bad batches.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that is something that we actively do, and we don't like expressing that. We could say every day, hey, we just took, a dozen bagels to the firehouse, or a dozen bagels to the local homeless shelter, but why? I feel like that takes the specialness out of that, and maybe a one-on-one relationship that we have that with certain people.
I think that may speak to why you're so successful, quite candidly. I think word probably gets around that you are a community-oriented business. You employ people. I mean, I was blown away when you told me you have a staff of 60 to 70. So you're a major employer. You're not just some small mom and pop, couple of people here, a couple of people there. You put a lot of people to work. You make a lot of people happy with your great product. And at the same time, you're doing some great community service. So how'd you do all this at such a young age? I mean, I look at you and I'm thinking, you can't be much older than my own kids.
Yeah. So I just turned 23 this past summer. So
you just turned 23, and you're the CEO and named owner of a major business like this.
Yeah, I 23, I feel like it's a 23 decision to name a company after themselves. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I never took age as a factor into it. I had somebody very early on tell me, like, you're too young, you're a kid, like, what do you know? I feel like that kind of drove me to say, like, I can do whatever, and I don't really see my age as a factor. I feel like I've learned a lot as a business owner, and there's still a lot more to learn. Mm-hmm. But what's nice is that as a 23-year-old, I could run the business however I want. If I decide to make a certain decision that I feel is in the best interest, then I could do that. And I don't always have the right answer. And like I said, there's still a lot to learn, but we're figuring that out together as a young age that hopefully will apply to whatever next steps come later on in life. So,
want to remind everybody, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast every Tuesday at 4 p.m. brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office where we have been for 50 years. Yep, Jeffrey Meldon opened up shop in 1971 in Gainesville, Florida. We have offices in Marion County, in Ocala, where we've been for 43 years, South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County area, Miami-Dade through Broward, through Palm Beach County. And we're about to open up a brand new office in Lake City. In fact, we have an event coming up on the 15th of December, a networking event there, and we've got a lot more to talk about in the weeks and days to come about that. And we are talking with Luke of Luke's New York Bagels. I have to read it off your shirt to remind myself. Quite an amazing success story. So, rattle off the menu real quick. What different kinds of bagels do you have?
Oh, I mean, we have everything. I mean, you could go from plain bagels all the way up until French toast bagels and anything in between. I mean, there's a lot that you could do. It's kind of the sky's the limit when your sole product is bread. We have a lot of people who come in and kind of get as crazy as they want to be, but we have anything from breakfast sandwiches to deli sandwiches, to pizza bagels, to cream cheese, to different even kinds of bagels. We have in our repertoire, we have over 30, but like the ones that we sell on a consistent basis, it's around like 16 bagels.
So if you're lucky enough to get in line and to be able to get a bagel from Luke's Bagels, what is the actual address?
It's 620 South Main Street. It's
620
downtown.
South Main, and the big landmark is the Heartwood Soundstage is directly across the street. And again, like I said, just look for the line of people. That's the best way to find Luke's New York Bagels. And for people to call, the easiest way, we'll give the phone number.
It's 732-278-9557. It's actually a funny story. It was my mom's phone number when she came down, and it became so popular as the shop phone, we had to get my mom a brand new phone, and we kept that phone number as the shop's phone number.
So is that a New York, New Jersey area
code? It's a New Jersey area code, and luckily we were able to get her new number as a New Jersey area code too.
So, and people can go on the Facebook page, I would imagine,
and find it.
Look up Luke's New York Bagels on Facebook, get the phone number. But you would recommend definitely, if you want some bagels, you need to call.
Yeah, Tuesday through Thursday.
That's right. Otherwise, you're going to be, SOL. I'll say it politely. Just they are so incredibly popular, and they are different. That's the thing, is that I like bagels. My girlfriend can't eat gluten products, but I love bagels, and they're different. There's just, whether it's the water, whether it's the methodology in which you make them, you guys are obviously doing something right.
Or at least we try. Yeah.
You're trying really hard and doing a great job. Um, any thoughts? We got a few more minutes left, so you can't tell us everything about the changes that are going to be announced. Just that some positive things
Correct,
are
yeah.
on the horizon. So your many fans and clients and customers can look forward to that. Do you do any special bagels for the holidays?
Yeah. So we do. I mean, every game day this year we did orange and blue bagels for the Gators. I don't know if that ended up hurting us towards the end of our season, but
Maybe so.
but
I don't
yeah,
know.
maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we should switch it up next year. But yeah, for the holidays, for Thanksgiving we were doing pumpkin around this time. For this whole week we're doing big line of like kind of like crumb cake, cinnamon, kind of that
No
area.
kidding.
Yeah, so we made a cream cheese that is actually has crumb cake in it. It's phenomenal. Not just because I make it, but it's actually really good. We'll have that probably up until we close. We close for winter break on December 19th. Most of our staff is going to be with families, whether they leave town or they don't leave town. But that Saturday after the 19th is Christmas. The Saturday after that's New Year's. It's not even.
So when do you open back up again?
So we'll be open January 6th. That's
January
a
6th.
Thursday after New
Okay.
Year's.
So the 19th through the 6th, no Luke's Bagels.
Through the 5th.
Through-
From the 20th through the 5th, we're
Okay,
closed.
through the
Yeah.
20th through the 5th. So
Yep.
the 19th you are open.
Right.
The 6th you're open. 20th
Correct.
through the 5th. Just going to have to make do.
Yeah,
Over-
exactly.
Are you getting a lot of orders? People ordering, a couple of dozen, things like that?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people find as soon as they know that we're about to close down. They just buy in bulk and freeze them. Honestly, I do the same thing, and they come out really well. So that'll probably get a lot of people through the holiday season if they can't get them that day. So it's a good way to go about it.
So we've been talking with the Luke of Luke's New York Bagels, already a Gainesville landmark and institution. Hey, is med school still on the table?
Like I said, I'm going back for my MBA. It's an unbelievable opportunity. I'm so happy to be doing that this upcoming June at UF as well. So that'll be my third degree here at the
Heck,
university.
maybe you should teach an MBA
Yeah,
class,
yeah, maybe.
on the right way to do a bagel shop. I'll tell you what.
I would love to,
They're pretty
but
amazing.
as far as med school, I would also say, just like the shop, that I don't think anything is off the table.
Nothing's off the table. Well, hey, you're still very much a young man, 23 years old. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have said 27, something like that.
I get 26 a lot.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's very impressive. Well, you and your mother have created something truly wonderful, and hey, I'm excited because I'm a fan personally of their bagels. They are really, really good. You have been watching and are still watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast of the Meldon Law Firm, primary office in Gainesville. We represent victims of injury cases. In other words, whether you've been injured in a car accident, a big truck crash, a pedestrian hit by a car, a skateboarder hit by a car, any type of injury case, animal bite cases, trip and fall, slip and fall, anything that involves a situation where someone's life has been turned upside down because of the negligence or carelessness of another, please give us a call anytime, toll free, 1-800-373-8000. I don't even think you need to do the 800 anymore. It's 352-373-8000 is the local number wherever you are statewide. We'd love to talk with you about your case. We hope you don't have a need for an injury lawyer, but if you do, please give us a call at Meldon Law. Thank you very much, Luke. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You're a very impressive young man. I'm sure we'll be hearing great things from you and your mother and your business in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you guys for having me on.
All right. We'll be right back with Jordan Marlowe, the mayor of Newberry, Florida. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. My name is Chris Qualman, and I am the Major Case Division Manager for Meldon Law, as well as the Chief Investigator. And for those of you who are not familiar with Meldon Law, well, you probably are if you're watching this show. We are the official law firm sponsor of the Florida Gators. Jeffrey and Carrie Meldon are on their way to a Super Lawyers Mastermind seminar today, where they will be for the next few days. So I'm pinch hitting as today's host of the podcast, but I have a little experience. This isn't the first time I've done it.
You sound like an expert.
Well, I did the first 40 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Of
Well,
the
you
show
got a few
last year,
under your belt.
and I've got the radio voice.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Who's not familiar with Meldon Law? You guys do the Scholar Athlete of the Week. You're the sponsor. I mean, you guys are everywhere. Y'all are amazing.
Well, you are
getting
everywhere
into the
too.
community,
You're the mayor of
helping out.
Newberry. You know?
Hey, I'm only in Newberry. I'm only coming into Gainesville for you guys.
All right. Well, then
I never leave Newberry other than that.
Okay. Well, I'm impressed. Thank you very much. Well, Jordan Marlowe, we were talking about him during the first segment. Now, you and I are Facebook friends. We haven't actually met till today, but I'm very honored.
Good to meet you in person.
Good to meet you in person too, Jordan. And so many wonderful things are happening out
There
in
really are.
Newberry.
If you haven't come to Newberry, come on out and experience some of this stuff with us, because there are so many things going on.
Well, and I agree with that. And to that end, I want to remind everybody we are taking questions. I didn't warn you about that beforehand. So we've got questions. Yes, he's on the hot seat.
Bring him on in. We like hot questions.
That's the way it is with a politician. So we've got him on the hot seat. If you got a question for the mayor of Newberry, Mr. Jordan Marlowe, type it in. Go on Meldon Law. Well, if you're watching, you would have to be on the Meldon Law Facebook page. Type in a question. We'll answer it. Even if it's an unreasonable question, we might not read it verbatim on the air, but as long as it's PG rated, we'll do our best to give it an answer.
Family friendly.
So, well, let's just dive right in. I've been to Newberry many times. I love the town. It's got such an amazing charm to it. And when I think of Newberry, there's so many things that come to mind, but the downtown shops, the quaint downtown shops, the camaraderie I've noticed among your shopkeepers and owners, it's truly a special place.
I couldn't agree more. I think that one of the things that we are really working hard in the city of Newberry to do is to keep our small town feel while we're in the middle of growing. So if you were out in the city of Newberry last weekend, we had our Christmas tree lighting ceremony. We had about 400 to 600 people that showed up on City Hall lawn. We have made it our goal to be the Christmas capital of Alachua County in the next couple of years. So when you come into Newberry, you see Christmas lights. We're already lighting up. We've got a Christmas parade on December 18th.
That was our question. You must have seen it.
Look at that.
Santa. Boy, she's got to win the award for viewer of the day.
December 18th, 5:30. 5:30. That's when the Christmas parade will be. And then there's going to be another Christmas festival. We call it Christmas on the Square. If you've been to the Stonehouse Grill in the city of Newberry, it's a brand new steakhouse. It's fantastic. It's right at Stonehouse Grill. You'll see all of the vendors. Santa Claus is going to be there. There'll be a horse-drawn carriage. If you want to experience living in a Hallmark movie, you need to be in the city of Newberry
What a
on
quote.
December 18th.
Stop right there. If you want to experience living in a Hallmark movie, Newberry is the place to be.
That's what you get when your mayor is also an English teacher.
Great. I was looking at your resume. You taught human geography. Do you still teach that?
I do. I teach human geo. I teach about 6 or 7 classes.
No kidding. Well, my son Charlie loved human geography. He took AP human geography in 9th grade and aced it and loved it, and that was his favorite class.
Human geography, it encompasses everything. So population, culture, religion, language, food, so that's my favorite part, the food. We get to do all kinds of things in that class, and it really does. It helps the students understand the world in a different way, and so we have a good time. So I'm glad he liked it. That's good.
He did. So tell us some more things about what's happening with Newberry this month. We've already talked about the parade coming up on the 18th. I know you've got certain things going on. I always think of the corn maze.
The corn maze, it's a Halloween event, and it draws probably 10 to 15,000 people into the city of Newberry. People come from all around for the corn maze.
Right.
But, recently, if you've been in the Gainesville Sun, if you've read the Gainesville Sun or been online, the city of Newberry hit the trifecta last week. We hosted state officials in the city of Newberry 3 different times. So last Tuesday, we had the ribbon cutting for the IFIS conference building and the IFIS extension offices. Newberry has a goal to become an ag tech research hub for North Central Florida. And last week, we cut the ribbon on the anchor for that project.
Wow.
So Newberry's roots run deep in agriculture. Our heart is in agriculture. And so looking into the future, we want to make sure that we keep that link to our past. So cutting that ribbon and having University President Fox come down and say to the crowd, Newberry's mission and vision statement, which is the little town that wants to feed the world. When the UF president knows your mission statements, you're doing something right. You're on the map. And then 2 days later, we had Commissioner of Agriculture Nikki Freed come down to the same conference center and talk to us about her efforts in agriculture. So it has truly been an amazing week. To wrap it all up on Saturday at Dudley Farm, Dudley Farm became a National Historic Site, joined a very elite group, and we had state officials down in Newberry again to celebrate that.
We have another question. What are the vendors for the Christmas festival? When is it and when does it start?
It's going to begin right after the parade. So the parade starts at 5:30. It goes straight downtown Newberry. You can sit on City Hall lawn. Kids can get candy and all kinds of things that'll be thrown out. As far as the vendors, I'm not exactly sure. There's probably about 50 of them, so I don't know that I could rattle off. But you'll have art, you'll have craft, you'll have hot cocoa. I'm sure there's going to be lots of different Christmas decorations that you can buy, Christmas ornaments that you can buy, it's always a good
My
time.
understanding is you have a regular farmer's market. I've actually been to it in the downtown area. It's a wonderful
Every
farmer's
Saturday.
market. And you have a maker's market also, people who actually make the art type things and whatnot.
We believe in Newberry that we should keep our dollars in Newberry. So we try to support local artists, local artisans, local farmers. So everything that we do in Newberry, we start with how is this going to help our folks here in our community. Right now, our Main Street organization is running a program called Shop Small, Shop Local.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, please do. It's a great program. We're really proud of it.
Doing some homework for this interview.
I'm impressed.
I saw this, and this is really incredible. So the city of Newberry, like you were saying, has a program, Shop Small, Shop Local, and until the 15th of December, if you buy anything
Anything from any business.
from a business in Newberry, you keep your receipt, you fax it or text it to this number that's on the sheet, and you will immediately be in the drawing for
In the running. We've got some cash prizes.
cash prizes
Gift
for
cards.
$50 gift certificates.
Absolutely.
That is really incredible.
You know, most communities focus on bringing new businesses. We absolutely focus on bringing new businesses to Newberry, but our primary focus is supporting existing businesses. Existing businesses put $7 back into your community for every dollar that you spend. So the turnaround there is tremendous if we can support those local businesses. So our motto in Newberry is we believe in Newberry. When a business opens up in Newberry, they're telling us that they believe in us. It's the most flattering compliment that you can get as a mayor. And so we want to offer that faith and belief right back in them.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Mayor. Like you've been saying, your community, your city, your town has been in the news so much lately. Why do you think it is that Newberry's getting so much attention?
You know, I get that question a lot, and I'm not sure that I 100% know the answer. I think it's that America right now really is longing for that American dream. I think that's what it is. We want to grow, we want to raise our kids, we want to live, work, and worship in a community where we can know our neighbors, our kids can ride their bikes safely down the streets, where I can send my children to 3 schools. They can be a Panther from K through 12. They're not going to fall through the cracks. I'm going to have teachers that get to know them, that get to know me, reach out to me if they see something that's problematic. I think cost of living. You know, you can move to Newberry and it's going to be about 20% cheaper than living in an urban environment like Gainesville. And you get a little bit bigger house, you get a little bit bigger yard, and you get that connection that I think we are losing with all the social
You're not really that far away. I mean,
and it's a 20-minute drive.
20-minute drive really to Gainesville.
Right.
You've got
get
High
all of it.
Springs, not too terribly far from you. There are so many communities within a stone's throw.
We're kind of in a nice hub. You got High Springs with the antique shops and the river, and you can go kayaking and canoeing. You're 20 minutes to the University of Florida that brings in Center for Performing Arts, brings in shows and culture. I tell my students all the time, I will never live in a big city. I think a college town life is perfect because I get all of the art and culture brought in, and I still get to go home and look at the stars at night.
So you have some things though that are in the works. You have some things being built. My understanding is there's a sports complex in the works, and we were talking before we got on the air that there's a concert venue, The Mine, I think it was called.
The
So why don't you
Mine.
give us an update on these different things?
I'm really excited about the mine. The Mine, when it's completed, is going to be the third largest outdoor concert venue amphitheater in the entire United States of America. And it is really cool. It's down inside of an old phosphate pit. It's about a 3-acre flat area inside the pit. It's got a water feature down in it. When you come, you can sit all around the edge of the pit. You can be down inside the pit. It's all outdoors, but being inside a pit contains the music. So you get the third largest outdoor amphitheater, and you're still not disturbing the neighbors.
You've had some shows out there already.
We had Sister Hazel out there a couple of times. We've had a couple festivals out there. We had a carnival out there. So it's going to be really exciting. We have a festival every year called West Fest, and it has really taken off in the last couple of years. I'm hopeful that we're able to work out a deal with the mine and move West Fest into the mine.
Okay. We have a question. I have to squint a little bit because it's not really big. It's from Reagan, and Reagan asks, about a few months ago, the city of High Springs and Newberry were talking about converting the old train tracks to a nature trail. Is that still in the works? Also, will there be some way to preserve the history of trains through Newberry?
It's a great question.
It is.
It is a good question. That project is actually an Alachua County project. The city of High Springs partnered with them, and they hit a couple of snags. One of the snags is that the land underneath the train tracks was environmentally damaged, and that blew the price and the cost of that project up beyond anyone's expectations. I was actually just talking to County Commissioner Ken Cornell about that project. He says they think that they have finished and finalized, overcoming all the hurdles and obstacles that they have. They're hopeful to get it back on track. And once they get the High Springs portion complete, then they'll come to us, the city of Newberry, and they'll talk about that. So look for it in the next year, 2 years to really be back in the news. As for preserving those train tracks, funny story, I actually had an idea for this before they pulled the train tracks up. And so this is going to be devastating because you're going to love this idea once I tell it to you. I didn't want to pull the train tracks up. I wanted to have a bike path around most of Alachua County. I wanted you to get to High Springs, and I wanted you to put your bike on a passenger car and then ride a nice slow train to the city of Newberry, maybe all the way to Archer while you have a coffee, maybe a locally crafted beer, a little refreshment. Then you get off and you finish the bike trail around. I thought that'd be a nice tourism attraction. Couldn't get it off the ground, and then they pulled the tracks up. But, we just did a visioning session in Newberry, and bike paths, trails, getting outside, it's what people are moving. 1,000 people are moving to Florida every year. And so it's what people want. I get it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about next year, 2022. What are some of the visions? What is the vision you have as the mayor, for the city of Newberry? And what are some things that we can see, some tangible things, whether they are events, whether they are initiatives? What are some things that will happen in 2022?
Well, I think everything we're doing this year, we're going to go for bigger and better next year. So whether it's our work on becoming the Christmas capital, work on becoming a music venue and hub, I think that you're also going to begin to see some construction happening in Newberry that is going to be really exciting. We have one development that is coming in that is a Celebration Point type development. I looked at it as I was coming in. I will take any opportunity to come in and check out Spurrier's Gridiron and Grill here, walk around,
Which
read a
we
little
are
bit of
in, by
history.
the way. That's why we
This
have all
is-
these helmets. I've got to plug our location here.
It's quite an honor to sit here in front of all these helmets. I got a history lesson about the legendary Coach Spurrier as I was walking around, but it also gave me the opportunity to check out Celebration Point because the development that is on the books in Newberry is actually a little bit bigger than Celebration Point. There's 2 indoor football arenas. There's a Top Golf. There's a bowling alley. There's a few
Stop right
restaurants.
there. Top Golf. You're bringing Top Golf.
That might be a secret.
Might be a secret.
That might be a secret. Please don't. It's just us, between us. Don't
All
tell
right.
anybody.
Well, Top Golf is about the only golf course I can play. Because if you've ever been to a Top Golf, the
Yeah.
holes are what, about the size of a swimming pool.
Yeah.
You know, and it's pretty hard to miss, even though I did miss a few times. And my son, Benny, had a lot of fun making fun of what a terrible shot I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
if
all right. It's all
something,
part of the fun
if,
game.
if
Right.
hypothetically something like
Right.
that was to be built in Newberry,
Then you would come out as my guest. We'd
holy
go play.
smoke,
right?
will you get some business?
Yes, yes. You know, Newberry is already the sports tourism capital of Alachua County. If you take out UF.
If you take out UF.
Newberry
I was
puts.
about to say.
Yeah, I felt the criticism coming. That everybody
That's all
starts to
right.
madly type.
That's all right.
If you take out UF, Newberry puts more heads in beds for hotels than anybody else. Actually, just Champions Park, a 16-field baseball park, which this development I'm talking about is going to be built around that. Just that one aspect in Newberry puts more heads, is second in Alachua County.
Heads
for
in
putting
beds.
Heads in
That's
beds.
the term. We got another question from my dear friend Santa. Is the proposed zip line at the mine?
Santa is very well informed. here.
That's why I love her so much.
I
See, I
thought
said it
that was
publicly.
a secret. Another secret. That is not actually proposed at the mine. That's proposed for a different location in Newberry, but you're not far off. You're not far off.
So there will be a zip line somewhere.
There is a company coming that has an entire adventure package that they want to bring to the city of Newberry. The main feature is going to be zip line, but I understand they have lots of other things to offer.
Now, I did a zip line a long time ago, and I'm 63, so I'm talking.
Time to do it again.
Our last
Time to
guest
do it
was
one more
23.
time.
I think
Yeah.
I was about 23, so it was about 40 years ago I did a zip line. Anybody can do a zip line, right?
I don't know
Pretty
that the
much.
lawyers would like. You're a lawyer. Maybe I might not say yes. Anybody go do a zip line.
Well,
but
you have to
I
sign a
think
release.
they're pretty
You have
safe.
to sign.
yes.
Yeah, they're safe. Anyway, well, I'm excited. That
Me
sounds
too.
wonderful.
23 years old, man. You know that's what we need in this country is more young entrepreneurs like your previous guest. That guy was amazing.
I tell
amazing.
you what, he was. When he told
60
me he was,
employees.
I could not have believed that.
I haven't
mean,
been there yet, but now I'm going to go.
Well,
I have to go.
you better call in a couple of days ahead
That's
because
what I heard.
there is something different about their bagels.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
whether he spits in it or not, no, I'm only kidding. They're wonderful. I think the secret is in the water.
Yeah.
Luke's New York bagels have already become legendary
Yeah.
in Gainesville.
Well,
See,
we
that's
gotta
what you
keep 'em.
need. You got to convince
Exactly.
him and his mom. To,
Well, I got to bring him out to Newberry, right? He needs to be part of this development. He needs to expand the franchise. Right?
Exactly. It
It's
sounds
all
like
about network.
it sounds like he's got that going on. For a smaller town, I mean, your community certainly is taking the lead on some very, very important issues. And I'm sure this isn't just all you. You obviously have some excellent people on the commission. And to what do you attribute this forward-thinking mentality that Newberry obviously has?
You know, it is impressive when we look back over the last couple of years what we've accomplished in the city of Newberry on some. We've been pretty lighthearted here today, but on some pretty heavy topics. You know, the city of Newberry has a Newberry Opioid Task Force. In 2018, I listened to a presentation where I learned that Alachua County has the second highest rate of adolescent opioid addiction in the entire state of Florida. I've lost 2 students to opioid addiction in my 16 years of teaching. And it was something that was near and dear to my heart. But you're absolutely right. None of this has anything to do with me. We put together that task force. We've got local citizens who care about this very, very deeply, and they have taken the lead, and they really have done an amazing job putting together a plan that we very soon will hope to take to the entire county, because this is a county issue. It's a country issue, really and truly.
Well,
it's not just a Newberry issue.
I think you're being a little humble. You know, you and your wife both are professional educators. That's what you both do for a living. My understanding, I learned just before coming in today that your wife was the Alachua County Teacher of the Year last year.
2016.
Or
She was
2016.
she
That-
was the
that's
Alachua County
amazing.
Teacher of the Year. We got to go up and meet the governor, and it was
Good for
wonderful.
you.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, the fact that you both work in education has a lot to do, I would think, with how you formulate your policy and ideas. How has that worked for you? You taking your professional background
Yeah.
into public service.
I find that being a teacher and a local small politician, they go hand in hand. They really do. I'm at the football games talking with the parents. I'm at the basketball games. You know, I'm part of the community, and so I get to hear what my residents need.
Mm-hmm.
And in the position that I'm in, I'm able to offer some assistance sometimes. I'm able to help them figure out how we can build a better community for all of us, because that's really what this is all about. How do we, go through this thing we call life and come out the other side looking back fondly? And we want to do that well in the city of Newberry. We want to work together. So we support each other through the good times and the bad. And being inside the classroom allows my wife and I the ability to see some of the needs and the issues before perhaps anyone else would be able to see that.
Want to remind all our viewers and listeners, we have listeners too, even though we are a visual medium, so to speak. We are also on multiple audio platforms as well. So whatever your favorite audio platform is, whether it's Apple Music, Amazon, so many others, Google Music, we are on many, many audio platforms as well as visual platforms. You are listening, watching Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, December 7th. 2021. I'm so honored and pleased on behalf of the firm to have Jordan Marlowe as our guest at the moment. He is the mayor of the city of Newberry, a town that is just doing so many wonderful forward-thinking things and is a vital part of the North Central Florida community. To that end, and you were talking about, High Springs, being so close. It seems to me that there's a lot of a symbiotic hand-in-hand relationship that you have with High Springs.
There is. Newberry actually is taking the lead on one other issue. We have proposed a partnership for a regional wastewater system with High Springs, Archer, and Trenton. So there'd be 4 municipalities that are involved in this. It'd be an advanced treatment center with a wetland next to it to take out the nitrates. It'd be much more environmentally friendly. The carbon footprint to construct these is tremendous.
I see.
And when every single small municipality has to build their own, you're doubling, tripling, quadrupling that. So if we can figure out a way to pioneer how multiple cities can come together, we can pass those savings on to our ratepayers. We can protect the environment, which we're in a very sensitive area, and we need to be thinking about protecting the environment.
Well, at High Springs, you have all the rivers, of course. You
got
have
all the
Santa Fe,
rivers.
you've got the Chautauqua, and some of the other things. So you're right, it is environmentally sensitive.
It's the right move. It's the right move for our residents. It's the right move for our future generations. It's the right move for the environment. Newberry is an agricultural city, as you know, and we really need to be good stewards of the environment.
For my edification, because I truly don't know, what are all the different things that are grown?
Newberry was a phosphate mining community before World War I. Well, of course, the enemy in World War I was Germany, who happened to be our #1 customer.
Oh, wow.
So we couldn't sell to Germany anymore. So we had to think outside the box, and we figured out that watermelon, tobacco, and peanuts grew wonderfully well in the city of Newberry. So those are Newberry's 3 big historical crops. City of Newberry, we had the local pharmacist, whose name was Dr. Berry. There was a virus that was ravaging the cattle industry in the state of Florida. He invented a vaccine that single-handedly saved the cattle industry in the city of Florida. And a couple of years ago, we had the Small Farmer of the Year, a local farmer named Mr. Trevor Bass. So Newberry doesn't just do agriculture, we do it well. We want to hold on to that.
We only got about 5 to 7 minutes left.
Where did the time go?
I know.
I'll tell you what, talking.
We could have gone for probably another hour or more. I want to hit a couple of things that I promised to plug. First of all, we've had a lot of people ask about the Meldon Law ticket giveaways that we do all year long. We did them throughout the football season this year. We're giving away basketball tickets. We've already got the tickets given away for the game coming up later this week. There is a game tomorrow night, though, and if you do have tickets already to the game, you will see Meldon Law set up inside the O'Connell Center. We've been doing it at the last couple of football games.
That's awesome.
We do a fan fest, and we've got this big spin the wheel deal where you spin the wheel and you get some swag. Maybe it'll be a T-shirt, maybe it'll be a bag, maybe it'll be one of many things. Please, by all means, if you come to the game, check out the Meldon Law Fan Fest booth tomorrow at the O'Connell Center. And we're actually going to have it for the Kentucky game as well, coming up early next year. So when
good luck to everybody.
Yeah, when Kentucky comes to town, we'll be there for that. I also want to throw out a couple of plugs for some events coming up in your sister city in High Springs. They have coming up this weekend, actually, 2 farmers markets back to back. They've got the normal farmers market in High Springs this Friday from 3 to 7 p.m., which they always have downtown. Yours is on Saturday, correct?
Correct.
So High Springs Farmers Market, and like yours, it's all local artisans. It's people who either make it or curate it. My friend Santa is the rock lady. She's got
Yep.
she's got. If you're into rocks, any jewelry, gemstone
Geology,
jewelry, quartz, so many things. It's a great opportunity to buy Christmas gifts. Come to the High Springs Farmers Market this Friday from 3 to 7. And they've got their Christmas party. Yours is a week later. But the High Springs Christmas Parade is this Saturday.
We try to coordinate.
You try to coordinate. Obviously,
Yes,
you did.
we try to
So
coordinate.
from 6 to 9 p.m., High Springs has their Christmas parade. And at the same time, the Christmas parade is going on. High Springs will have the farmers market going on. So if you can't make it to the Friday farmers market, you can go to the Saturday farmers market in High Springs and do it all again the following weekend in Newberry.
Christmas spirit, and absolutely, I encourage everybody to shop locally for Christmas. It's a wonderful thing. When I'm a high school teacher and a coach, when you look around the golf course or the football field, you don't see Amazon as a sponsor. You see Meldon Law. You see what they're doing in the community. So let's keep those dollars here in the community. Let's support the people who are supporting our kids because we need it in the school system. We need all the support we can get right now in the classroom and on the field. So please keep those dollars local.
What do you coach?
I'm the golf coach, the archery coach, and the tennis coach at Newberry High School. Meldon Law actually selected one of my players last year. It was a great student athlete of the week. You guys came out, and it was a lot of fun.
Jeffrey's been doing that for 20 years. We've been doing
amazing.
the Scholar Athlete program, and that's a tremendous honor. I'm so happy to hear one of your players made it.
It means so much to the kids. They put it on their resumes. They brag about it. They get on TV. Their grandparents swoon over it. So I mean, it's a wonderful.
Well,
moment. We appreciate you
like the
doing
name implies, it's every bit as much a scholar award as it is an athlete award. We're not just looking for that kid, that young woman, that young man who's got tremendous prowess on the athletic field. You've got to cut it in the classroom too. And I'm so happy to hear one of your players made it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Well, those are three sports I have to admit that I haven't played a lot of. I tried to play golf. Like I said, my best golf is at the Top Golf.
Well, we'll try archery. We'll try archery.
We'll try archery.
Yeah.
I used to go to a summer camp in North Carolina called Camp Highlander, and I was a half decent archer.
Well, now you just come out to Easton Archery, and we have a 3D course. You can walk around and shoot from different angles. You can shoot inside.
Now, do they still have the actual pointy tip arrows, or have they made those more safe?
Well, they've got everything out there. So come out there, they'll teach you how to do it all.
So there really is an archry range where people can come.
Easton Archery was
all right.
the Olympic Training Center. Right now, the bronze medalist for the United States archery team is the coach at Easton Archery. It might be the silver medalist. He's going to be mad at me if I get that
whatever
wrong.
the case may be, somebody who obviously is pretty darn good.
It's pretty impressive. So you can come out and have classes. You can come out and pay just to experience it in the moment. You can walk the course. You can bring your own equipment out. There's a lot to actually offer out at Easton Archery. UF has a stargazing club. You can go out there once a month, and all the astronomers have their telescopes set up. So if you've ever been interested, you want to gaze.
I'll tell you what. I mean, again, I go out to my friend Santa's home, and it's amazing just the space out there.
Yeah.
You could see the stars. You could see the constellation.
Right.
Whether it's High Springs or Newberry.
It's nice.
It's
nice.
Absolutely wonderful.
Especially this time of year.
We've only got about 2 minutes left. Anything you'd like to tell us that we haven't talked about Newberry? Anything coming up in 2022?
I'm sure that there is, but I can't. We've hit a lot here. I can't think of anything that we left on the table. I'm going to walk out and I'm going to say, I didn't tell everybody about this. And
what's the best way to get information about Newberry? Facebook, internet?
City's website, newberryflorida.gov. You can go check us out.
Newberryflorida.gov.
We've got a little link on there. It's called the Mayor's Corner. All the wacky things that in the community that I get our residents to do. Click on that, and you can join the Christmas effort. You can join the opioid effort. We also working on racial reconciliation, looking at our past. You can join that effort.
You're not too far down the road from Rosewood.
We are not. Actually, the only other time I've been to Spurrier's Gridiron and Grill was for Miss Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, who's the president
isn't
of
she
the Railroad.
wonderful?
She is.
We've had her on the podcast, I think, 3 times now.
I'm not going to say her age, but she puts me to shame how energetic she is. I sit on her board and try to keep up with her.
Well, For those not familiar with the Rosewood situation, look that up on the internet and look at the wonderful work that Lizzie Jenkins is doing. And they actually have their 100-year.
It's coming up.
acknowledgement
It's coming up.
of that massacre.
1923.
That's right.
So
that's
we're in the works right now, planning for that ceremony.
Again, Jordan, thank you so much for being a part of the
appreciate you having
program. There's so many wonderful things. I learned a lot about Newberry that I didn't know. So check out the holiday parade coming up the weekend after this one. High Springs, theirs is this Saturday. Some wonderful things out in the western part of Alachua County, and a real gem that you've got there.
It
in
is.
Newberry.
Come west, young man.
And women.
And women,
All right.
everybody.
Again, you've been watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law Firm. Give us a call anytime, 352-373-8000, anywhere in the state, anywhere in the country for that matter. We are an injury law firm. We represent persons and families whose lives have been turned upside down due to the negligence of somebody, whether it be a car crash, a big truck 18-wheeler collision, pedestrian cases, dog bite, slip and fall, trip and fall cases, anything where someone's been injured. Please give us a call. There is no charge. There is a free consultation. We also handle criminal defense, including DUI defense. Again, on behalf of Jeffrey Meldon and Carrie Meldon, my name is Chris Qualman. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week. And don't forget our radio show Saturday on WSKY-FM, Meldon Law Talk Live. Thanks again. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.